guys, it's Mandy from Mandyleeplays, and in this video I'm going to do a worth to buy for Pokemon Violet. The format of this worth to buy is kind of going to be a little bit different. I am going to address the glitchy elephant in the room, so don't worry about that. Let's get on to the video. So after the release of Arceus, one of my favorite recent gen Pokemon games, I was really excited for Gen 9. Now when they revealed Gen 9, I was kind of hesitant because we got a lot of Pokemon games. We had Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, plus Pokemon Arceus, and now they're doing a Gen 9. I thought that was a bit much, but nonetheless, we got Scarlet and Violet. So I went with Pokemon Violet, but this review is for Scarlet and Violet. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, I want to talk about the story. Now, it's no secret that Pokemon stories are not really captivating, riveting, or anything like that. They tried with Black and White, which I really do love, and they kind of raised the bar a bit with Pokemon Arceus. So I'm going to give you a little synopsis about the story, but don't worry, there won't be any spoilers here. So Pokemon Scarlet or Violet takes place in a region called Paldea, which is based off the Iberian Peninsula, which consists of Spain and Portugal. So even though this is based off Spain and Portugal, I feel like there's a lot of Hispanic cultural references in there as well, which I do love. I am from the Dominican Republic, so I really like the Hispanic touch. So your character enrolls in a Pokemon Academy, which is named differently depending on the version of game you got. Now the school in Scarlet is called the Naranja Academy, which is Spanish for orange, and the school in Violet is the Uva Academy, which is Spanish for grapes. Now the beginning of the story is kind of a departure from your regular Pokemon games from the past. Instead of the professors, you have the head of the academy doing most of your tutorial stuff. But like every Pokemon game, there are 3 starters you could choose from: a water, a grass, and a fire. First you have Sprigatito, the grass type Pokemon. Then you have Fuecoco, the fire type. He's a bit of a crocodile. And next we have Quaxly, the water type. So the tutorial of the game just takes you to the school, and after that, this is where the traditional Pokemon story starts to split, because instead of your whole 8 gyms champion thing, you have 3 routes to take with 3 different people. First you have Victory Road, which consists of your typical 8 gym battle mechanic and then beat the champion. Now your rival is Nemona. She's pretty cool. She likes to battle a lot, like a lot. She has that sweet rival personality, which I don't really like. I like the jerks, but she's pretty cool nonetheless. Now the second path is the Path of Legends. This involves Arven, the son of the Pokemon professor. Now Arven's path is different from the Pokemon formula. It's a little bit like Pokemon Arceus. You gotta gather things, research Pokemon. And lastly, the final plotline is Starfell Street. Now this is supposed to be the gang of the game. I could tell that they're not evil or malicious, or they have a philosophical meaning of changing the world. They're more annoyance than anything, which, okay. So for this one, the player is contacted by a mysterious person on the phone, which you should block that number if you get one of these calls. Your goal in this route is to take down the various squads scattered throughout the Paldea region, with each having their own boss. Now another big aspect of the game is the whole academy school thing. Even though you rarely go to school at all, it's completely optional, but as soon as you get your stuff, you're off to do whatever you want. And that's about it for the school. It's a very pretty school, and your dorm room is huge for a dorm room. Like, you have a full kitchen. What? It's basically bigger than a New York studio apartment. Well, that's pretty cool, but all that is put to waste because you're not really at school that much. Now, I know it might be a lot to handle, especially out the get-go, but thankfully all these plots are non-linear, so you could tackle them whichever way you see fit, and there's no consequences for doing one first and the other. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into each route because there's spoilers there, but that's basically all you need to know from the get-go and how the story is structured. Oh yeah, the legendary. So the legendary just parks up on the beach and you feed it a sandwich, and now it's your friend. And I like how this game doesn't really make the legendary feel important, because we all know legendaries at this point are not important in Pokemon games anymore because they're used so much. So I like how they're just so nonchalant about it. They're like, oh, this lizard thingy. So like I said, story is not front and center in Pokemon. That would be the gameplay. So let's get to it. Now the gameplay for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is still the traditional Pokemon route. A lot of the Pokemon games follow this whole thing where they have a gimmick to them. And for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it is called terastallizing. So basically what Terra moves do, it increases the power of the moves that have the same type as the Pokemon. And it's even more powerful when it matches the Pokemon's original type. Each Pokemon has a Terra type. It is inactive until a Pokemon terastallizes, which changes the Pokemon's type into its Terra type. Now for gimmicky stuff, terastallizing is not that bad. It's very pretty. It's a very aesthetically pretty move there. I like the crystals and the little stuff that goes on the head of the Pokemon. So I like it better than Gigantamaxing from a aesthetic perspective and a game move perspective. Going along with this new form is the Terra Raid Battle, which is like the Dynamax raids in Sword and Shield, but with awesome music by Toby Fox. Actually, it's really cool. And like before, there is no national dex. I think we could all say they're not gonna bring the national dex back. Hi, it's Editing Mandy coming at you with something I missed. I do love how this game has a co-op mode, which lets you enjoy Pokemon with a friend. You could load up to 4 friends at a time, which is mind-boggling because the whole concept of Pokemon is to trade and connect with other trainers, and I feel like they encapsulated that really well. Now, the quality of the online connection may vary depending on your connection, the servers or whatnot, but from what I've been hearing, it's a pretty nice experience. So I really like that. Now, this is the first truly open world Pokemon game in the series. While Pokemon Arceus was open, it had sections to it, and honestly speaking, I feel like the Pokemon Arceus route would have been better because I think they jumped the gun on the open world a little bit too soon. But I do like the concepts that they were going for with how you could choose what you want to do first, how you're more free, it's less hand-holdy, it's less story-bound, which sadly, yeah. But to be fair, the stories were never good. I like the approach they were going for. The execution, on the other hand, ooh no. So that brings me to my opinionated points of this video. First, I'm going to start with the good things of the game because there's a lot of good things that I find really charming in this title. I like how the Pokemon models are. I feel like they did a good job with texturing them. You could actually see people wearing textured clothes, and when it rains, it actually gets wet. I like how you could customize your character from the look of your character, freckles, lipstick, lips, and all that stuff, and clothes like shoes and socks and hats. Though, something that really pisses me off is you can't take your school uniform off. And it pisses me off because you don't even spend that much time in school. Why do you have a uniform on? I don't understand. And it pisses me off. I want to look cool. I don't want to look like I'm in a school uniform. You do get a choice of what seasonal uniform you get, but they're all ugly. They're all ugly. Why? Yeah, this is supposed to be the good list, so I'm just gonna move on. I like the picnic mechanic of the game. It's kind of like camping, but a picnic, which is cool. TM crafting, that's a good idea. There's a lot of TMs, and sometimes they're really expensive, so to craft your own is really nice. And riding your legendary Pokemon. They could have put in a bike, but they put in a legendary. I love the Paldea region. It is a very culturally rich region, and I just love the concept of it. And there's a lot of quality of life improvements like auto battles, and I love the region Pokemon. They're very well designed, and I feel like they all have a reason why they look like that. Alright, if I had gloves, I would be taking them off because the kid gloves are coming off. Time to talk about the elephant in the room. The way the game performs is horrendous. Horrendous. I can't believe a game like that is released in 2022 from Nintendo. Bad. This could have been the best Pokemon game to come out this gen, even the best Pokemon game of all time, if it ran correctly, if they didn't have the crunch, if it had time to bake in the oven, if it had time to breathe and be the game that it wanted to be, but Game Freak did not let it be because they need that money for some reason, even though they have money, Even though we had 2 Pokemon games come out this year, they needed to rush this, and that's the big downfall. All the potential I see in it, all the good stuff that they did for the game is automatically non-existent if it can't perform well. And that is the big crux of this issue. A lot of the stuff is great, but when you're trying to execute it in a game that's not great, that's where it falls through. And it dampers the enjoyment quite a bit because you see the potential. But then you see all the bugs and glitches and stuff that breaks the game and you're like, I'm trying to enjoy this, can all that stuff just leave? And I've been enjoying the game, but I can't help but think this could have been the best Pokemon game if they just let it take its time. Now there could be a lot of reasons on why the glitching, the bugs, the FPS is so bad. My theory is that the engine that they use in Game Freak is not well optimized for the Switch. It's not a Switch thing in my opinion, it's the game itself. Since it's open world, they went for so much that the engine that they have, which is basically probably the Sword and Shield one, cannot run it properly. And that's what I think is damaging the game. Now, I am no game developer expert, by all means I'm not. But I can't help but think it's an engine problem and that they need to fix that. Now that being said, they could still patch in fixes. I don't know if they are, they should, like really bad, but it's just horrendous how it came out. All the missed potential, like the concept art looks way more like a game than the actual game, and it's just held back by Game Freak's tight scheduling for some reason. We could live without a Pokemon game in the holiday season, especially if we had 2 that came out before. So I don't understand. I'm not a businesswoman, I'm not a game dev, I'm just a passionate Pokemon gamer who wants a good Pokemon game. And to start that, we need the game to function. With Pokemon Arceus, there was a lot of bugs and glitches, but I was willing to overlook that, and I did, because at least it performed well. I could actually suspend my disbelief and enjoy the game. But with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it's hard to suspend your disbelief when there's so many stuff going on. And for those people who are saying, oh, it's for kids, kids have eyes, you know, and kids know if something's janky. That's all I'm saying. And something that I stress a lot, especially on my channel when I do Worth the Buys or talk about any game, is sales do not equal quality. Just because a game sells well doesn't mean it's good quality. Just to get that straight, because a lot of people point at, oh, it sold this much and it sold that much. I'm like, the game is still bad though. Y'all have eyes, y'all could play the game. It's still bad though. It's sold because it has the Pokemon name on it. It has all the legendary games before it to hold that thing up. Not because it's a good game. Now to end this little segment, I know I'm a hypocrite on this point because I bought the game, but I bought it because I wanted to review it for you guys, and if I didn't play it and reviewed it, that's kind of a problem. And I actually really enjoy the game. I'm trying to get through all the faults to see all the good stuff, but it's hard sometimes. It's really hard. Especially the game-breaking ones are the ones that just take you out of the immersion altogether. Why can't we just have a stable Pokemon game across the board? That's all I'm asking, Game Freak. That's all I'm asking. Alright, so that's enough of the ranting part. I hope you guys enjoyed. I didn't. I'm kind of heated, not gonna lie. And this is why I don't do rants as much, because it gets me into this negative state. But things needed to be said. And I hope I conveyed it well. If you're enjoying this game, even with its flaws, then that's great. If you're like me, who's trying to enjoy the game, even with the flaws, that's great as well. Or if you didn't pick it up, then I understand. Alright, so is it worth the buy? It's not black and white with this one, no pun intended. I would say it's worth the buy if you could overlook all the problems I just mentioned. But if you're just a casual Pokemon onlooker, I don't recommend this game. Not yet, at least, because there's so many problems with it. And there's so many things going on. So yeah. That's just my opinion. Is it worth the buy? It's up to you. So that is it for my video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry again for the ranting. I normally don't do that. If you like this video, hit that like button, and if you like my channel, I'd love to see more. We're almost to 5K, so let's get to it. Hopefully by the end of the year. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Tell me in the comments down below, do you like Scarlet or Violet? Are you overlooking the problems? Are the problems too big for you? Did you put it down? Let me know all that in the comments down below. Be civil, please. You can reach me on my socials in the description. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the day. And as always, play a good game. Peace, peace.